Welcome to Awaz News. I'm Simona Cotoni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Alberta Appeal Court says federal environmental impact law violates Constitution. Jolly says Russian ambassador spreading war propaganda to Canadians. SickKids aware of 7 probable cases of severe hepatitis of unknown origin in children. Ontario party leaders square off at the first debate of election campaign. Amid record-high national gas prices, Calgary Suncor triples its profits in a year. Toronto restaurants to be eligible for Michelin stars for the first time as guide launches in Canada. RCMP officer charged in human trafficking and animal cruelty investigation. New details released following stabbing in Thornhill. It's crunch time for Canada's NHL playoff team. Leafs going with the same lineup for Game 5 under fire hold praised by coach and teammates. So those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. Alberta's top court said the federal government's environmental impact law is unconstitutional, and Ottawa almost immediately announced its plan to appeal. The Alberta Court of Appeal said in its non-binding opinion in the reference question concerning the Impact Assessment Act that the controversial law is existential threat to the division of the powers guaranteed by the Constitution. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau later in the House of Commons said the law delivered on a promise to reform a broken system and restore public trust in how decisions about major projects are made. The Alberta government, calling it a Trojan horse, has challenged the Impact Assessment Act over what province argued was its overreach into provincial powers. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly accused the Russian ambassador to Canada of spreading misinformation and propaganda to Canadian public, but she said she has no plan to expel him from the country. She said Stepanov have sought to amplify Russian President Vladimir Putin's campaign of misinformation about the war, which the Kremlin has described as an operation to stamp out modern-day Nazism and defend Russia from Western imperialism. Unfortunately, the ambassador to Canada from Russia has been providing propaganda to the Canadian public, and this is extremely problematic. She said from Berlin a day after making a surprise visit to Kyiv to reopen the Canadian embassy. A SickKids hospital spokesperson said the hospital has come across cases in 7 children that met Public Health Ontario's case definition. The cases were identified between October 1, 2021 and April 30, 2022. In an interview, SickKids head of infectious disease Dr. Upton Allen said at this point it is too early to say whether the number of cases represent an increase on what the hospital may have encountered in previous years. Public Health Ontario defines the cases as transaminitis or liver inflammation alongside jaundice and gastrointestinal disinfection in children up to age 16 with no presence of the known hepatitis virus A through E. Other symptoms include lethargy, fever, dark urine, pale stool, loss of appetite, and nausea. Party leaders squared off on matters of affordability, jobs, and infrastructure in Northern Ontario at the first debate of the election campaign on Tuesday, which each promising their own solutions to supporting the region. The 4 leaders duked it out over municipal funding, housing affordability, and short-term rentals, with progressive conservative leader Doug Ford arguing that the key to improving conditions in the north is stimulating the economy and increasing the region's population. He wouldn't commit to giving municipalities more tools to bolster their revenue if re-elected, saying instead he would make sure people have jobs. NDP leader Andrea Horwath said she understands that the lower population in northern communities have led to the lower budget, but raising property taxes can't be the answer because housing is already too expensive. Liberal leader Stephen Del Duca said he would share 5% of the existing mining tax with municipalities to pad out their pocketbooks. Oil sands giant Suncor Energy says it's more than tripled its earnings compared to the same period last year, jumping from $821 million to $2.95 billion in the first quarter. Earnings were propelled by the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February, which has driven the price for global oil higher as EU purposes cutting off buying Russian oil imports. That strong demand has also driven Canadian gas prices up to record highs across the country. The Calgary-based oil producer and refiner says the dividend is highest in the company's history and 12% higher than the previous quarter's dividend. The Michelin Guide, the exclusive star rating system only handed to the most esteemed culinary establishment in the world, is finally coming to Canada. The guidebook for Toronto was announced at the Four Seasons Hotel by Mayor John Tory, along with 2 Michelin star-studded chefs, Daniel Boulud and Evelyn Leung, on Tuesday. The announcement is the answer to a question that has lingered in the country's culinary scene: why does Canada have no Michelin star restaurants? The answer: there was no guide until now. In the coming months, inspectors will be anonymously indulging and evaluating Toronto dining ahead of the city's first round of stars set to be revealed in the fall. The idea behind the guidebook dates back to 1889, when the Michelin brothers founded their still-standing tire company and created a little red guide for the travelers to take on their journey. York Regional Police say that in April, a man came forward to report he was hired from Mexico to come to a home on Bayview Avenue in Georgina, Ontario, where he would tend to some animals on property. Investigators said the man endured very poor working conditions that were not consistent with the agreement he made with his employer. On May 3rd, police say they arrested the victim's employer. The RCMP says the man arrested, 44-year-old Yasif Israel Mainmonter, is one of its constables. He was working with the North Ontario Transnational Organized Crime Unit at the time of his arrest. Police are asking the public for help in identifying 2 suspects allegedly involved in a stabbing in Thornhill that left a man with the serious injuries. It happened on Monday at a bus stop in the area of Yonge Street and Royal Orchard Boulevard at approximately 1:10 p.m. At that time, victim and suspect were waiting at the stop when the second suspect exited on approaching bus and stabbed the victim multiple times, police said. It is further alleged that the other suspect filmed the incident on his cell phone. Police originally said the incident occurred on board a York Region Transit vehicle. Emergency crews responded to a report of stabbing and arrived on the scene to find the adult victim suffering from serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The first suspect is described by investigators as male, black, standing 5 foot 10 inches tall with short dark hair and braids. The second suspect is male, tall, and wearing sunglasses at that time. It's unclear if the suspects are known to be the victim. After Calgary's 4-1 win in Dallas last night, all 3 NHL playoff series involving Canadian teams are tied 2-2 and heading north for Game 5. The Maple Leafs head coach will dress the same lineup for tonight's Game 5 against the Lightning, some 48 hours after that group came out embarrassingly flat with a chance to grab a 3-1 stranglehold in their best-of-7 playoff series. Toronto defenseman Justin Hall turned the puck over less than a minute into Sunday's debacle, leading to Tampa Bay's first goal and opening the floodgates at Amalie Arena against the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simona Cotoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.